Hello guys and welcome to the Life with the Burchells podcast with me, Andrew.
And me, Amy. We have a few topics to go through today. The first one is going to be about the cake that we made on Sunday, was it?
Oh god, I can't remember now, it's only Tuesday.
I think it was Sunday because we were really bored.
Yeah, it would have been Sunday.
Yeah, you were bored and then I suggested making a cake. And then you actually got up and made a cake.
Yeah, you went upstairs and you came back down and I had all this stuff out and I was,
yeah
we're making a cake. And you were like, are you actually making a cake? I was like, yeah.
But it's not just any cake.
No, it was a chocolate cake with a twist.
Talk them through your chocolate cake with a twist.
So, I really wanted a chocolate cake. The only problem being we didn't have any cocoa powder. So I asked Amy, can you use Nesquik? Nesquik, like chocolate milk powder? Will that do the same thing? And we came to the conclusion of, yeah, why not? And it did work, didn't it? It did work.
And I tell you what, that cake was amazing. It was so nice that after it cooked and cooled down for like 5 minutes. So it wasn't like a proper full cake, it was just one tray of
half
cake.
A cake.
And we just sat and we just ate it all.
No icing, no anything.
Just the sponge. We just literally sat on the sofa with it on a plate and just ate it. Honestly, I 100% recommend using Nesquik because that has made the best chocolate cake I've eaten in such a long time.
Because there's like no bitterness from it because the Nesquik's chocolatey but sweet.
Yeah.
So it's not bitter in any way. Like cocoa powder can sometimes be, where it's too dark and doesn't taste nice.
What measurements did you use for the cake with the Nesquik? What did you actually put in? Did you just wing it?
Nesquik, I just poured it till it went brown.
Yeah, okay. So if you make a cake with Nesquik, pour it until it goes brown. We recommend tasting it because Andrew loves cake batter.
It's the only reason I made the cake.
Yeah, there's often times where you just go and sit and make cookies, but not actually cook the cookies and just eat the cookie dough.
Yeah.
And you just whip up some cake mix and you'll just sit and eat cake mix.
Yeah.
Like it's normal.
It is normal because it's fine and yummy. I don't think I'm going to get poisoned from the eggs. I hope I'm not. I know that you always get caution, but in the UK we're supposed to be alright, aren't they?
We have our little lion that tells us that they're okay.
Yeah, they've been blasted with ultraviolet light to hopefully kill the bacteriums.
Yeah, so that is our cake adventure with Nesquik. Something I've never tried before, but I will definitely be using in the future.
Oh god, it'll be so hard not to do it again this weekend.
Well, we're not because... No, I'm telling you now, it's not happening. We're going to be busy this weekend, so...
Okay.
Should we go on to the next topic? Finish the food chat before we go on a tangent?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next topic is our F1 fantasy team picks.
Yes. Now this is I'd say fairly interesting topic because with our second pre-season testing coming up this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we've had 1 week to kind of get a little look at the teams. We have no bloody clue what's going on, but we're big F1 fans, and we thought, F1 opened the fantasy, so we thought we'll have a go and we'll talk everyone through what our current ideas and thoughts are.
I must say, this is my first time ever playing a fantasy game, and I only got into F1 properly in 2019, 2020. So F1 is still fairly new to me. I know the people I like, I know the people I don't like, and I know I'll drive around in a circle. My knowledge on everything else compared to you is pretty slim, but I'll wing it and see if I get anything. So do you want to go through your team first?
Right, so who do we start? I think we'll go with the team first. So for the team, I've started and gone bold, probably jumping on the hype train again, and I've gone with Ferrari. Now, this is a little bit because I've been a Ferrari fan since probably 2015, when Sebastian Vettel joined them, who's my favourite driver. A little bit washed, but favourite. And just, I think since then I just got the Ferrari, the Tifosi, just dream of seeing those scarlet cars win the race. They're not scarlet this year because they're quite a dark red actually, but I've gone with Ferrari. From the first test, shakedown, not test, remember, they showed up with a very interesting side pod, as did Red Bull, though, to be fair. But I don't know, the Ferrari just, I don't know, I believe they've spent time. They've spent a lot of money, and I reckon they might be able to do it for Ferrari.
I don't. I think Ferrari are going to do well. I have a feeling they're going to do well, but they're quite good at the hype, and I think they've hyped it up before, and I think they're kind of doing that again because, you know, it's a new season, there's new rules, there's new cars, and everybody's hyping their cars up, going, we've done it the best, we've used the rules the best, and I think Ferrari are just doing that.
That's where you're wrong, Deborah. This Ferrari hype train is real, and mark my words, at the end of the season you will hear either Charles Leclerc or Carlos Sainz, you are a world champion. And you can write that one in your diary, and we can talk about it at the middle of December, because I'm right, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to...
I'll tell you what then, after testing, we do our next week's podcast, we will put in our F1 predictions. We'll put them, write them on a bit of paper, put them in an envelope, and we'll open them once they're finished, and we'll see who was the closest to being right.
Oh, that'll be very interesting.
And I bet I win.
Good. Well, probably, let's be honest.
Anyway, enough of that, because otherwise we're going to be here arguing about Ferrari forever. My team that I have gone with is McLaren. I'm a huge McLaren fan. They have got one of my favourite drivers in there. I have multiple favourite drivers. But I honestly think McLaren did really, really well last year. And I think that, not Danny, I don't think Danny's going to push the team, but I think Lando especially, the way he pushed the team last season, I think he's going to really push again this season, and I think they're going to do quite well. And you can come at me and I'll win.
Interesting that nobody's gone with Red Bull or Mercedes. And by nobody I mean us two. From what I've read and seen, I don't think a lot of people have confidence in them because they obviously spent so much time during last year's championship fight, but I don't think you can count out Mercedes.
No, I think
worried.
Mercedes are strong all the time. I think they always manage to find a way to make their car quicker than everybody else's.
Cheating?
Well, yeah, there was that.
That's cheating?
I'm telling you now, they definitely cheated last season, but they just couldn't prove it.
What, when they suddenly found like 20 miles an hour in a straight line?
Like 10 seconds ahead of everybody at some point, so it's a bit like, that's cheating, surely. And I think it was Red Bull that mentioned it, but because they couldn't find it, they couldn't prove.
It was all to do with the way the suspension basically buckled under high speed and the rear wing practically dropped like 10 centimetres.
Yeah.
That's why Max was touching it, because he was like, well, you know, why is it bending like that? But they could never prove that it was wrong.
But you know, I'm sure all teams cheat in a way.
Oh, definitely.
And it's just who doesn't get caught. Then well done you for not getting caught. And Mercedes, hats off to them for not getting caught and putting it in so sneakily that nobody could find it under any of the tests. So, respect.
Fun fact on that thingy, just quick. There is a new rule this year that I found out today where normally when the FIA voted on something, it had to be a unanimous decision. Now only 8 of the 10 teams have to vote in favour of something to get it vetoed.
Oh, wow.
So if Mercedes had something dodgy on their car and everyone else went, yeah, that's illegal, can we ban it? And the FIA went, okay, you know, let's have a vote.
Yeah.
if Mercedes voted no, and say like Williams voted no, and that was it, it would still get banned, and the FIA would be like, well, sorry about that, goodbye.
Crikey.
There you go. Fun fact.
Well, we'll see what happens this season. Should we go through your 5 drivers?
Yes. How are we doing this? All just 5 in one go?
Just do 5 and then we'll go through our TD and our MD.
Okay, so I have gone with Charles Leclerc, Ferrari hype train, whoop whoop, leaving the station. Sebastian Vettel, just because
whoop whoop, leaving the station.
It's the hype train, choo choo. Yeah, Vettel because you gotta support your people, whether he does well or not. I've gone with Mick Schumacher because I needed a cheap driver. Practically, that's the only reason I went with Mick Schumacher. And out of all the cheap drivers, I think he's the only one that might be able to actually do better than the others. Then I've gone with Carlos Sainz, all aboard Ferrari hype train, choo choo.
That's going to be your catchphrase this year.
Yeah. I'm going to sit there before the race starts, go choo choo.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, although this could be a risky play, having 2 drivers from the same team like this. I could have definitely shot myself in the foot. And then I've also jumped on the McLaren bandwagon and gone for Norris, which is interesting that there's no Mercedes or Red Bull drivers in there. Mainly because Perez I don't rate, and Max and George and Lewis are too expensive.
See, I like Perez, and I think he had some cracking moments last season.
Yeah.
And we all know that the Red Bull is a hard car to drive. And I think the way that he can hold Lewis up at points, I think that was some of the best driving I'd seen all season.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But too late.
Yeah, too little, too late.
My drivers. So I have Stroll.
Intriguing.
Purely because I ran out of money for the people I wanted, so I had to go with someone who was fairly decent and within the budget. Leclerc. Not only is he a fine specimen to look at, but he is a good driver. Gasly, because what a season Gasly had last season. And I became when he went through the whole thing with Red Bull, I kind of felt like I needed to go give him a hug and kind of go, it's alright, you'll be fine. And then when he won at Italy, I was just like, yes, that is a massive middle finger to Red Bull, because he can do it.
Yeah.
And then last season, just wow. He was pushing that car to where the car should not be. And I just think if he can do that again this season, and he doesn't get a Red Bull seat back, and I don't want him to, I want him to go to a different team, but anyway, that's a different story. Then yeah, I think he's a dark horse, and I think he's underestimated by a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've gone with Norris because, as I said, I am a massive McLaren fan, and how could I not pick Norris? He, again, is not only a fine specimen, but he's also a very good driver. And Russell. I've liked Russell in the Williams. Again, not because he's a fine specimen, but when he had that drive in Mercedes, and we've got to remember that he didn't fit in the car.
No.
He was wearing shoes that weren't his size, and he was quick.
Yeah.
He was very good in that Mercedes.
He was going to win the race.
Now, there could just be a massive hype around him, but I don't think there is, and I genuinely think he is a good driver, and I think he's going to do really well. And I think he's going to challenge Lewis, and this might be what pushes Lewis to retirement.
I mean, he's got the same pedigree as Charles Leclerc. He won F3 and he won F2.
Yeah.
So I remember you being a fan of George in F2 in his breakout weekend. I think was the Austrian Grand Prix, and you were like, "Oh, that driver, who is that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's George Russell, Mercedes Junior." You were like, "Oh, I like him. He's good. I'm
Yep.
gonna support him now. I think he's gonna get to F1 because we didn't know he was gonna get a seat in F1, and Mercedes weren't giving him a seat. He got that Williams seat through a presentation and his own effort. He signed that contract, nothing to do with Mercedes. So yes, I do think George Russell could be an upset in the same way Leclerc was an upset to Seb. In the same way Danny burst on the scene in 2014 with Seb. Yeah, okay, Seb gets rattled by young drivers. But I feel like Lewis is fragile, and we saw that with Nico Rosberg. Not you, because you didn't see that, but when he has someone who can challenge him, he can be fragile, and he can lose it. He's done a lot of growing in the 6 years since then, but I wouldn't be surprised if George Russell puts a crack in Lewis Hamilton's armour.
I don't know what it is, but I think George is going to do really well, and I think I'm going to put him in the top 3 this year. I think he's going to come first, second, or third.
Bold.
No, I know he's going to come first, second, or third. Especially if Mercedes have got their car right. Obviously, you can have a good car and be a bad driver, but he's not. He's not a bad driver. And I swear down, I genuinely think he's going to do really well. And the cat just nearly ruined all of this because she just decided to jump up in the middle of us. Yeah. Typical.
That was awkward.
But yeah, George Russell, Gasly, Lando Norris, Stroll, and Leclerc. That's my team, and I think I've got a fairly strong team.
I think the only problem I have with your team is Lance Stroll, who's a bit of a.
He's there because his daddy's rich, but he can pull out some good drives, and we have seen him pull out some good drives. So if not, I'll just have to sub him out. In
all fairness, he did dominate F3. God knows how many years ago it is now. I think he beat Max Verstappen in F3. So there's always that.
But we'll see. So who's your TD and MD?
So TD, I have gone with Sebastian Vettel purely on the fact that he does have an ability to pull a result out of nowhere at times, such as Baku last year, where we were all thinking, oh my God, that Aston is crap, he can't even keep up with Stroll.
I mean, one of the drives that I'll never forget from Vettel was when he was a Ferrari driver, and I think he'd had an engine penalty or something, and he was at the back of the grid, and he got that car to 5th, and I was just like, wow, this guy.
I can't remember which race that would have been. The one that stands out to me is there's quite a few, but in terms of recently, I think 2020, when he was really, really struggling. I think it was it would have been the Hockenheim race. I think this is 2020. It's either 20. One of those 2 years where he started again at the back and in wet conditions at a track that he'd 2 years ago or 3 years ago blown it in such a dramatic fashion with a little bit of wet. He managed to keep it on the road when almost nobody else could, and managed to almost win the race from the back of the grid, unfortunately losing and coming second, but not by a lot.
Thank you so much for that backstory.
You're welcome. Perfect. Anytime. Anytime
so
you want
what does the TD do then? What does that do?
By my understanding, TD is your triple driver or something.
Yeah,
triple points.
Like I'm trying to find the rules.
So it's the person you think's going to score the most points, like most surprise points or whatever it is. So yeah, I think it's triple points, isn't it? I think.
It's a turbo driver. So it multiplies the points scored by the selected driver, so you get double points. So whatever they score. So if they got 5 points in the race, you'd get 10 on the game.
Oh, right. Okay. And what's MD? Is MD better than TD?
MD is the mega driver, and they score their they triple their score.
Ah, right, okay. So TD's double. I don't know why they didn't do it like DP and TP
No,
for
I
double
don't know
points,
how to get
triple
back
points.
to my team.
While you find a way to get back to your team, my mega driver, I've gone with Charles Leclerc because I am fully on board this Ferrari hype train.
Choo-choo.
I am probably going to cry around the 5th race of the season when it all comes to light that the Ferrari isn't the quickest car. Much like, 2018 and 2019, where everyone was like, oh my god, the Ferrari's the fastest car in testing, it's so good. And then by the 5th race, we're all like, so where's that Ferrari pace? Because I can't find it. It's lost. And but this year's different. It's every year as a Ferrari fan is the year, and this year is definitely the year.
So my TD is Lando Norris. He is a great driver. Anyone can fight me. I'll win.
What's your bloody catchphrase?
Again, can pull out some great races, and he is just a great driver. And my MD is George Russell, because as I have made clear, I think he's going to do amazingly this season. I think he's going to, not that he didn't find his feet in the Williams, but I think he's really going to find his feet this season. And I think he's just going to be more comfortable in a faster car where he belongs, at the top of the grid and not at the back.
Here's a question for you. Can he win it?
Yes.
Any explanation into that?
I don't know if it's just because I'm a massive fangirl. But I honestly, I can't stress this enough. I genuinely think he has got it. And I know he's got it. And I just think he's going to smash it. I feel like a bit of a proud mum right now. And it's like, my child can't do anything wrong. But honestly, I genuinely think that he is going to do really, really well. And I think a lot of people will think that, it's his first year in Mercedes and he's probably not going to want to upset Lewis, which is true. I imagine that is true. But I just think he's going to do well. I think he's just going to better Lewis. And maybe not on purpose. I just think he's younger. He's a bit more hungry for it now than what I think Lewis is. And I think Lewis is a bit more distracted with his other careers and what happened at the end of last year. And he says he's over that, but he's not, because it keeps coming up all the time.
Yeah, they do keep bringing it up, don't they?
Which is understandable. I mean, I'd be pretty hurt too. But just don't put on a face. Just be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not rant about Mercedes. We'll try and keep this as...
Is that a great Martin Brundle quote? Opinions are like noses. Everybody's got one, and just because you got one doesn't mean it needs to affect people. But
if you hear one of our opinions, please let us know your opinions, because it's interesting to see what everybody else is.
Right, next. What else has happened this week? Oh god, we had that computer issue. Your computer issue.
Oh god, what a nightmare that was. I honestly nearly had a mental breakdown. I was ready to throw it out the window. I was on the edge of tears. And it was so bad.
The day after we bought a new screen for it as well.
Yeah.
That was, oh god, that was stressful. Just coming in here in the morning.
I couldn't even use the screen when I got it because I had to wait for the correct wire to arrive.
Yeah.
And then, so we thought we buggered it from plugging in a wire that wasn't working. Turns out not. Turns out my computer's been a bit of a drama queen.
Oh, massively.
And I mean, we were both at the point of giving up on that computer and just going, right, we're just going to have to get a new one.
Yeah, I thought it was just completely died. I was in here already, and you came in, and you tried to turn it on, and you were like, oh, it's not turning on. So I was like, huh.
I was getting no power to my keyboard or my mouse.
Well, it was to the keyboard, but not the mouse.
The keyboard
or was it
eventually,
only when you moved it?
yeah. Oh. So then I was freaking out, and I was like, oh my god, it's not turning on.
Yeah,
I was just like hitting buttons, like, come on, please just wake up. Turned it off and back on, because that's meant to fix computers. Nope,
Oh, we tried that so many times.
Oh,
Master plug out the back, bloody switch on the back,
and then
this in out.
we tried it in your screen to see if it was maybe my screens that weren't working.
Yeah, no signal.
No, nothing.
Oh god, that was so stressful.
And we tried everything. We were cleaning it. We were checking to make sure the bloody hard drives are in properly.
Yeah, I pulled out the graphics card. I put another one in it. I was spinning the fans. We made sure that all the water was fine.
I think we were trying to fix it for an hour and a half.
Oh, definitely.
And then you saw a red light. Well, I saw a red light, didn't mention it because I thought, oh, maybe that's just nothing, surely. And then you saw the red light and you pushed a button.
Well, yeah, because I saw this red light and I was like, that looks like a button near the RAM. And I was like, I don't know if I can press it, but I'm just going to stick my finger near it. And I stuck my finger near it, obviously close enough to press it. And then, it went like a solid click in it. And then the whole computer just reset. I was like, oh.
And that was it.
What did I do?
It was fixed.
Yeah, like magic tricks. So I think I think that what we think is the RAM. Something went wrong with the RAM, which was stopping power getting to the graphics card and stopping power getting to the USB ports because there was no power in the machine. Like the lights, the LEDs turned on, but they're like a low voltage thing. So I just think there wasn't enough voltage to the entire thing to turn anything else on.
But yeah, good news is it's not working. I haven't had a problem with it since.
Now we know what to do.
And honestly, it nearly broke me.
Yeah, I just kept saying to ourselves, like computers don't just break. Computers don't just break. They don't work the previous day, not change anything and break. This can't be a thing.
Oh, it's really stressed me out. Especially because we just moved the office as well. I was like, what if we've damaged something? It's like, no, it's not even moved that far.
No.
And it's been working.
Just trying to think of all the times we might have bumped it.
So it's a cat eating through a wire. But yeah, it's working now, so that's good. And I think, before we carry on wittering on, we're going to cut to the podcast there. And we'll come back next week with our F1 predictions and with updates of what's happened the rest of this week.
Right, last thing, because we still got 2 minutes. I want one bold prediction for this week's testing. One just completely out of anywhere. Bold prediction.
George Russell is going to be better than Lewis.
George Russell's going to be fastest. Okay, mine is... I think the McLaren's going to have a bad test. I think the engine's going to blow up.
Can I change something?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to go Ferrari. I'm going to put it in a wall.
Okay.
And Ferrari. Completely ruin their car.
Right. Got
because they're in the wall because...
They were driving too fast.
The engine blew up.
Right.
Or the brakes failed.
That would be very Ferrari.
Yes.
Very Italian.
Just because I want to ruin your little choo-choo train.
Hype train's left, darling. That's gone.
Well, I'm running after it with my little flag going, excuse me,
you're gonna have to get a taxi to the next stop to then jump on the Ferrari hype train.
And I will be wearing my McLaren shirts. They probably are going to fail because every time I put that shirt on...
We need new shirts, don't we?
Yeah, we need to order our new ones. But yes, anyway, listen to us next week to find out our F1 predictions. We'll come up with a list of questions. We'll say the questions and then answer them on the podcast and write them down. And then at the end of the season, we can go over them.
Yes.
And for just updates of our general week. So thank you all so much for listening. I hope you have a lovely rest of the week. Please like, subscribe, share, and as ever, thank you for your support. Bye!